Hello fellow YouTubers, and to all of my mates, no wuckin' furries. My name is Randolph Workus, Papa to my children and Mr. Workus to all those under 25. Recently, I discovered another wonderful treasure, a book called Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. The author explains how modern humans are capable of imagination, and that skill can be used to motivate and unite millions of people into a common cause. That unison drives relationships irrespective of whether the idea presented is fictional or factual. He put forward an argument that a man can create an entity that can continue to exist and own assets beyond his own mortality. The idea was French legal code as written by the French Parliament. According to French legislators, if a certified French lawyer followed all the proper liturgy and rituals, then wrote all the required spells and oaths on a wonderfully decorated piece of paper and affixed his ornate signature to the bottom of the document, hocus pocus, a new company had been incorporated. All one has to do was pay the lawyer to go through those sacred procedures and rituals, and once performed, millions of upright French citizens behaved as though the company existed. However, the whole procedure was just an idea. You can't physically touch it or feel it, the company, because it only exists in our imagination. He continues, telling effective stories is not easy. The difficulty lies not in telling the story, but in convincing everybody else to believe in it. Much of history revolves around this question. How does one convince millions of people to believe particular stories about nations or even climate change, for that matter? When it succeeds, though, it gives Homo sapiens immense power because it enables millions of strangers to cooperate and work together towards a common goal. It doesn't matter if the vision is true or not, but if you repeat the story often enough, especially if using people of influence, sheeple will follow. It was the tactic employed by Joseph Goebbels when he used it to unite the German population after many years of misery and hardship. He would spread misinformation like skinny German fat Jew, and the rest is history. This morning, I happened to look at a Google News feed whilst checking my email, and there was the never-ending propaganda and news stories peddled by The Guardian about how people are rushing to buy electric cars, and the very next article was about carbon capture and storage. It is a globalist coup. It is the embodiment of a square circle. It is mob politics taking over newsrooms. It is the World Economic Forum pushing fear and calamity to force people into submission when there is literally nothing to fear. Nothing. I questioned the carbon capture and storage proposal and wondered why no one thought of just giving the CO2 gas to farmers, to pump into their greenhouses, to grow tomatoes, salads, or simply grow flowers. After all, it's just fertilizer. Carbon dioxide is a necessary component of photosynthesis. It is impossible to overestimate the importance of photosynthesis in the maintenance of life on Earth. If photosynthesis suddenly ceased, there would soon be very little food or other organic matter. Carbon dioxide is a necessary building block for nearly all life on Earth. it is important to remember most organisms would disappear without carbon dioxide, and in time, Earth's atmosphere would become nearly devoid of gaseous oxygen. Energy produced by the photosynthesis process was carried out by plants millions of years ago, and it is responsible for fossil fuels such as coal, oil and gas. They power our modern economy today. In past ages, small organisms fed on plants that increased faster than they were consumed, and their remains were deposited into the Earth's crust by sedimentation and other geological processes. Everything you read and hear about the calamitous climate change by the World Economic Forum is pure fiction, pushed onto the masses by vested interests such as big business billionaires and the fascists at the forum, as they want us to march towards a one world government. Can you imagine? A digital prison. This craziness is consumed by left-wing utopian politicians who don't think about the rubbish they are peddling. It is evil. Ideally, they want us to return to Pol Pot's Year Zero in 1975. It was an ideologically driven Marxist-Leninist and was a leading member of Cambodia's communist movement that slaughtered millions of educated people in what became known as the killing fields. If you forget the past, you will be destined to repeat it. Our federal and state politicians are driving our economy to a standstill for no reason. Our nation is blessed with an abundance of natural energy that is being ignored, that provides us with personal freedoms and a viable manufacturing base. Yet our pollies continue to push this zealous view. If we don't cripple ourselves and live in absolute poverty, the world's climate will increase by 1.5 degrees in 100 years, which is based on pure hearsay. There is no computer-driven modelling that is peer-reviewed that can substantiate that claim. It's nuts. Those experts pushing this fiction are unemployable in any other field of industry, so they hang around, absorb the free money pumped their way, and spread the party line. They choose to ignore other major economies that are flourishing in our stupidity. The World Economic Forum's plan is to control planet Earth. Straight out of James Bond. Plain and simple. Democracies are an inconvenience to the deep state. The Chinese model is just dandy. If you love complete control over every detail, they even want to control your behaviour by allowing you privilege if you obey. If you refer to your own country as a patriot, they will immediately accuse you publicly as being a member of the hard right or a member of the Nazi party. If that is not the pot calling the kettle black, I don't know what is. Such hypocrites. By being a patriot. Another trick you will often see employed is the shifting definitions within the English language, such as removing the definition of a woman from all dictionaries. It is all about emasculating males and eradicating women. It is a transhuman fantasy pushed by big pharma and big tech and big law firms. Did you know our Indonesian, Chinese and Indian cousins have no anxiety about climate change, and they will consume 8 billion tonnes of coal this year in 2023. Our current crop of Australian politicians are guilty of blatant self-harm, pandering to the World Economic Forum by pushing other pipe dreams such as environmental and social governance, otherwise known as ESG, which is driving hyperinflation and food shortages around the world. Meanwhile, many Australians are drowning in financial stress. It is plain stupidity. Our governments have been pushing green scheme since 2007, which includes everything from geological hot rocks through absorbing wave energy, solar farms, wind farms, including the Snowy Hydro battery scheme, which is all in vain. There is no issue. It is sheer madness. They don't care that your power bills are exploding, as they don't have to live with the consequences. They just give themselves a pay rise at your expense. Wake up Australia, CO2 is plant food. Please explain to your children they have nothing to fear when it comes to Mother Nature and the weather. It is all about the money, corruption, cronyism, politics and power. Take a moment and imagine in your mind's eye Aircon Al flying to Switzerland in his Learjet, discovering, Klaus, look down there, the oceans are boiling, whilst being served dinner on the public purse. It might appear that oceans are boiling from 38,000 feet above sea level, but in fact, they are called waves. Law firms also love the never-ending sausage machine of new regulation around green energy, restricting your freedoms and determining how you spend your own income, as it also provides endless streams of wealth when paid by the hour on the public purse. And again, it's the working and middle classes that must pay for this fictional largesse. Enough is enough. We need a political revolution, as the prediction of hellfire damnation due to climate change as the next industrial revolution is bulldust, and suggesting the science is settled is moronic. Please, watch my videos and make up your own mind. If inclined, like and subscribe to my YouTube or Rumble channel and visit our website whentheftislegal.org to participate in open dialogue. While you are there, please sign our change.org petition requesting a royal commission into the judiciary in Queensland that is not predetermined and welcomes whistleblowers. Again, I want to reiterate, green schemes promoted by the Queensland State Government are a perfect example that are employed to create fear and uncertainty that do nothing but scare our young around the world, especially within the Anglosphere. Those in charge simply ignore irrefutable evidence when it surrounds them. There is no issue. It is a massive hoax. Correlation does not mean causation. See you again soon, and always remember, she'll be right, mate. Never fear. Brandolph is here. Du widzenia. That's for our Polish friends here in Queensland. Thank you for listening to me.